What's going on, military cash flow family? What's going on with you today, Mike?
Nothing much, man. As you guys can see, the hotel room. Well, I just gave it away. I said the background is a little bit different. It's because I'm in a hotel room right now. Just traveling. I'm out here in Fayetteville, actually. Fayetteville, North Carolina, old stomping grounds. I had to do a presentation on subject twos yesterday, so I'm still here. But nothing much, man. What's going on with you?
Just living a kid-free week right now, So me and the
Ooh,
wife have been really hanging out this entire week together. It's been pretty awesome. I forgot what it was like to just not have not have the kids, you know what I mean? So right now the kids are with my brother and sister-in-law right now. They're hanging out in Columbus, so they're having a good time. But me and the wife are back here. I have had leave this week, knocking out a few things, not a lot of little to-do things, and then just having a seven dates in a row with the wife, you know what I mean? So
gotta love it.
yeah, dude,
How
it's
how
pretty
old are the
awesome.
kids now?
5 and 7. So
So yeah, you still
yeah.
got a ways before they're out the house.
Oh yeah, we got
Yeah.
a yeah, we got a long ways.
Oh man.
So that's the crazy thing, because at that age, like 5 and 7, that they're always making noise. There's always something, right? So it's
Yep.
just really really quiet at the house, and it's me and the wife can sleep in because the kids are gonna wake you up. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
um, can sleep in and just kind of hang out and stay up really late, knowing that we don't got to wake up or anything like that. So it's been really cool. Been doing a lot of beach trips and things like that. So it's fun times. You need that every now and again. If you're listening to this,
Absolutely.
hey, go buy your wife some flowers. If you're listening to this, go buy your significant other some flowers and write them a little note, and just tell them how much they mean to you. That's coming from me, and that'll go a long way. A lot of times the significant others aren't appreciated, or sometimes you can forget how much they mean to you, so make sure you go do that, man.
More
um
love advice from the love doctor comes. I love it,
yeah,
man.
yeah, but this
But yeah, I mean that's a good point, man. It's super serious, and it's super serious to make sure that whoever those relationships are nourished, man, because this is a team sport. Life is a team sport, period. So make sure you're getting out there and showing appreciation where you can, for sure.
big time, big
Which
time.
actually brings up a good point about our guests, because our guests have been crushing it, and they got two little ones too. I think one is 14 months and the other one is like 3 months or like three
Yeah,
weeks or something like that.
brand new, a couple weeks
Brand
old.
new. Yeah. So what Clint and Liz Mua. Did I
Moore.
say it right?
Clinton and Liz
Mua.
Moore. Yep.
Yeah. Tell them a little bit about this
Yo,
amazing couple.
so these guys are so Clinton is an E3, it's a
Yep.
private first class. Wife just delivered their newborn maybe 3 weeks ago or so, and these guys have been on a journey for the last year, in the process of getting themselves prepared and ready to buy their first investment property, right? um and you guys know we preach multifamily with the VA loan. These guys enrolled into the course. They got the course. They're involved in the Facebook group. They took the entire military cash flow course, and then started taking action and applying the principles taught. And now they got their first duplex. So, but it was a journey. They went through. Now, understand this is a COVID seller's market, and they've been doing this. They've been on this journey since April of 2020. We first started talking April 2020, so it's been over a year where they've been in the trenches, really getting after it. This is a COVID seller's market. This is they went through over 50 offers, wrote over 50 offers, went through multiple lenders, multiple realtors, and they also didn't have the best credit when they first started off. So they walk you through the entire journey of what they went through, how they continue to persevere, right? I think their story is just an ultimate story of triumph. And you got to definitely pay attention to this one, especially if this is something that you are trying to do. I think they kind of beat all the odds just with perseverance and with focus. And they're crushing it now. They are a success story, and we're so happy to share their story with you, Mike.
Mhm. Yeah, perseverance cannot be stated enough. As Dan mentioned, all of those factors were going on while transitioning to a new profession in the military, traveling across the country, right from Maine, I think it was, I hope it was Maine or Maryland, all the way down
Maryland.
to Texas, right? And and having a newborn, right? So there is a lot of different factors that play into that perseverance at a whole nother level, guys, because this is a long game of patience when you look at real estate success, right? It's the people who are most consistent for the longest who actually have success. So this is a great story, guys. And without further ado, we're going to jump right to it.
What's going on, Military Cash Flow family? Today we got Liz and Clinton Mua, and they're very special guests. They both, we've been talking for about a year now, and we just went through the whole entire process together. They were Military Cash Flow course students, and they just been crushing it, and they got their first duplex closed, and we're really, really excited for them. So welcome to the show. We really appreciate you coming on. Please let us know a little bit about yourself. Let's go ladies first, and then we'll go the better half first.
Well, thank you so much for having us on the show. We definitely are humbled to be on the show. My name is Elizabeth Liz, and I was born and raised here in Maryland. My parents are originally from El Salvador, and really, my introduction with a little bit of real estate was back when we got our single family home, and he was living in we were living in a condo, and he didn't sell that. He actually ended up renting it out till this day. So that's really where I got a little bit of my intro to real estate. And so then we moved to Fort Hood because he got stationed there. And that's where we're at right now. So we have 2 babies now, 14 months apart, just gave birth about 3 weeks ago. So, and here we are right now.
Good morning. My name's Clinton Mua. I was born in Africa, Cameroon. Came here in 2001. Crazy time, because that's basically a couple months when 9/11 happened. So a lot of things shocked me when I came, but through that, I moved. I basically came to Maryland, and from then on, got raised in Maryland, elementary, middle, high school, and worked a lot. I think I worked my butt off just to get things right. And from then, I did want to go to college. I did take a couple semesters, but it got too expensive for me because I was paying out of pocket. And from then on, I took the leap after reading a book called The Alchemist. And from then on, I've always wanted to join the Army. I did Navy ROTC in high school, and I wanted to join fresh out of high school, but things happened. And one day I decided just to take that leap, and I joined, and COVID happened, and things just got crazy. But from then on, I guess our life just got better for the best, although it was a crazy timeline. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it, man. I love it. You guys, how'd you guys meet each other? Like, was it in Fort Hood where you guys met, or like, what's that story? Because you guys come from, I'm here in Maryland. I'm hearing, you a little bit of your past as well, Liz. So like, where'd that come together at?
We're actually high school sweethearts.
Oh,
Nice.
Okay.
High school, I was a sophomore, he was a senior. So that's where we met and we started dating. So we've been dating since 2010.
Yeah.
And we've been together since then. So that's how we.
Nice. Okay. Yo, man. So you guys got two little ones. You guys are in Fort Hood now. And you guys are just out there doing it, dude. So got some introduction to real estate, one through your dad, and then the other through, I guess you found Malcolm Gladwell's. It's Malcolm Gladwell, right? I think he writes the Alchemist. Yeah, I think he wrote The Alchemist as well.
Oh no, Paulo Coelho. Yeah.
Oh, I'm thinking The Outliers. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're thinking Outliers.
I have that book. I just haven't had time to read that too.
That's our next one.
So I got to ask a question, man, because I think it's always interesting. I hear different stories, and I'm just curious, what's your opinion? So you came from Cameroon in 2001. You start seeing the landscape of the United States changing because that was just right after 9/11. Then you stated that you always wanted to join the military. So what about it was coming from another country where you said, hey, I still want to serve in this country's military?
Back home, my dad was in the military back there in Cameroon,
Nice.
but I don't want to say I was literally following his footstep. It was kind of my path. I love being athletic, and I just felt like the military was never about any benefits, never about anything. I just felt like it was something to keep me focused, because I'm a nerd when it comes to James Bond, double like spy stuff, you know?
Nice. Yeah.
So I just love the military just for the tactics and everything it provided. So to me, I just felt like I wanted to get involved in that, just to say I did it, not for anyone but myself, a goal I wanted to accomplish. And I was getting kind of too old by that time to join. Even when I was in basic, I was considered like an old head, because most of my peers, my battle buddies, were 18 and so on. But I've always wanted to do it. So it was getting to that point where I didn't want to regret not accomplishing something that was in the back of my head every time. And even I walk in stores, I see someone with his uniform, and I always tell my wife, that could be me, that could be me, you know. So I always kept reminding her, and even through the times I had some family members like, don't do it, war and all this, you know. And in my mind, we all, everybody outside of the military, they always thought military war, like you don't see the broad side of the military where you can be a dentist, you could be a lawyer, or just anything. There's so many jobs that the military provides. And I didn't see that. I just wanted to join. And once I was at MEPS and I saw how many jobs was provided, I was like, perfect, you know, let me just get into it.
So kudos to you for, having that foresight to say, hey, I want to do something, and therefore I don't want to have regrets for not doing it. So I'm going to do it. A lot of people listen to their surroundings and they decide not to do something just because a family member or somebody said, but hey, it's your life. So congratulations on that. And it's funny how you say the James Bond was always like your inspiration, because that's kind of how I felt as a kid. I was like, I want to be G.I. Joe too. So
Exactly.
let's just go.
Yeah,
so Liz, how did you feel though? Because at this point in time, you guys have been together since 2010. He just said, hey, I'm a little bit older, but I'm going to go join. Are you ready to uproot your life and move to Texas? Like, what was going through your mind, just out of curiosity?
So it's funny because it was something that I knew he always wanted to do. And in the back of my head, I just thought it's going to happen. When it's going to happen, it's going to happen. So I kind of mentally had already prepared myself. What I didn't know is that it was going to be all the way in Texas, but it's still, I was all for it. At that time, I was actually, when he first officially got in, I was 3 months pregnant. So, and I was doing my senior year in undergrad. So I felt like it was perfect timing, because once I was done with my undergrad and I graduated, I was with my diploma, we had our baby. So it was perfect timing to like actually be able to officially move. But at first, when I was actually one of probably the people that I was like, when he first, because we were fresh dating when he was like, I want to go to the military. I was like, I wasn't like saying don't go, but it was, I wasn't a naysayer either, but it was kind of like, I also had that mentality of like, you're not going to be around, you're going to be at war. I don't want to lose you. I'll be with you 3 years, so I don't want to do that. But thankfully he decided and he went for it, and I was fully supportive of it once he decided to fully go for it.
Love it.
Texas part it's crazy, because once I started, I read The Alchemist like 3-4 times, and every time the main character took a step, because he was afraid, he had other plans, and every time he took a step, it just led him closer to his goal. It's just different steps. So the Texas part is like, I never thought of Texas, but every time when it came before real estate, I always heard, I didn't really know much about real estate, but I always heard people saying Atlanta and Texas is the place to go when it comes to real estate. Everything is affordable, land and property. So I never had Texas in mind, but I was a Dallas Cowboys fan at that time. So honestly, I didn't care where they stationed me at when I was in AIT, but once they said Texas, I was like, whoa, I'm a Cowboys fan in Texas. So I've never been to Texas at that time. And I had friends saying, how are you a Cowboys fan and you've never been to Texas? I was like, right now, since I'm stationed in Texas, hey, perfect. I'm definitely a Dallas fan now.
That's the power of them Cowboys, baby. We around the nation.
Amen.
So what was your steps like? Can you walk us through the story? So I got it. You read The Alchemist. I've never read that book. I've read The Outliers, but I've never read the Alchemist. I had too kind of confused. But what about it like kind of led you to real estate, and what I guess how did you guys both navigate through that process together?
The Alchemist really isn't more so anything related to it. It kind of connects to entrepreneur as far as it pushing you, but nothing where it tells you what to do, because we've read Richest Man in Babylon, which is good. Rich Dad Poor Dad, but my book was The Alchemist, because I was getting to the point where I was bouncing from job to job and I really didn't know what to do. And that book is just the main character. He wanted basically success, but then it got to, he had some setbacks, and eventually he got what he wanted, which was his wife. And he decided, he almost settled just because he had his family. But the book said that wasn't your original goal. So you have to keep on going. And he ended up getting to where he got. But when it comes to real estate, I never knew much about real estate. What I knew about real estate wealth or success was that in my mind, I thought you just had to be an agent, So I've always brushed being I never had I've always had an entrepreneur mindset. Like in middle school, I'll buy a pack of gum for $1, and each strip I'm selling it for 50 cents. So I'm definitely making more. And I was a sneakerhead at the time, so I would buy shoes 3, 4 and flip it, But real estate was never anything I ever considered myself getting into, because I thought you just had to be a real estate agent. And my brother was a real estate agent at one point, and I helped him for an open house one time, but that's all I knew. And I never was interested in doing all those things. But it wasn't until I was in AIT, I started just looking up business ideas and so on. And I saw people kept saying real estate. And I'm like, no, no, no. And then I see them, what got me was how they broke down different categories of real estate, like your flipping and house hacking. So when I saw house hacking, I'm thinking you're hacking some. I'm like, I know about computer hacks and hacking games, and so I looked into it. I was like, what's house hacking? And that's when YouTube led me through the loophole, and I saw so many so many people online, and including me, seeing the military cash flow since I was in the military. So it was perfect. Like, again, the alchemist kind of is like a law of attraction. The more you keep seeking out things, the more things keep, falling for you. You just got to take the step. Or as you're climbing up the stairs, you don't really see nothing, but once you put your foot, the steps kind of forms for you. That makes sense. That was my idea. Although she had her dad who owned a condo. So if you want to break down on that.
Yeah, he had that condo, and that was really my introduction, but never in a million years did I think that was going to be us having rental property. And I just didn't think that was going to be us, but I did know, he managed property on his own, and I knew how that was stressful. So that's why probably I was like, that might not ever be me. But he definitely kind of paved that way for me to kind of know a little bit of the nitty gritty things. I know that I know that the income that we get from our second second side of the duplex is going to be counted as income. So it's just little things like that. But I didn't ever think we were going to get into it. until he brought up until he kind of introduced me to house hacking and this multifamily movement. And I was all for it. Once I heard it, I was like, what? Live on one side, the other side? Absolutely. We let's go for it, you know?
That's crazy, especially because if you said your dad had some frustrations, right? And he kind of told you that. So I assume there was kind of I guess, a little bit of a negative connotation or a little bit of negativity towards real estate for you to just automatically be like, all right, I'm on board. What was it that like kind of switched your mindset? Because at first you were like, hey, I don't see ourselves doing it. Both of you said it, like, I don't see ourselves doing this at all. What was it that like really switched your mindset and said, hey, maybe it's not so negative, you know, maybe there's a way for me to really mitigate these things that my dad is telling me? How you know, what did you do there? What was your mindset there?
I think it was really when I found out about property managers. Found out that you can hire somebody to, like, you know, not have to, you have to deal with certain things. And also you know, the whole idea about cash flowing and not losing money. Though my dad wasn't necessarily losing money, you know, he didn't. I don't think that how we learned about cash flow, he learned about that. You know, being more intentional about real estate, you can definitely have a different outcome. And once I heard about, I think really what it just made sense for us to be living on one side and another side paying, and it's still our home and our mortgage being paid down. It just, to me, because I'm a numbers person, so I said 2 + 2 = 4. This just makes sense. It just makes 100% sense. And really, here in Maryland, that's one thing that we never really saw duplexes like that. Oh, yeah. And even if we did, I would say, oh, one side's being owned, like it's a split home. So one side is owned by somebody, and I never thought that you one person could own an entire duplex. So it just clicked. Once he broke it down to me, it just made sense. And we just really went full force with it. Once he just really broke it down for me. So really, I'm glad that happened. And I'm glad that I didn't necessarily let the negative connotation overrule it. I used that negative, right, to say that's not what we're going to do. We're going to have a property manager. I'm going to tell you that much. We're going to have a property manager. We're not going to deal with all those, you know, the things that are time consuming, at least for now, right? At least for now, our first time, we're definitely going with property managers.
I love how you guys literally took, and that, I think that's one of the things that people miss most often, right? You took the biggest pain point and you essentially found a solution for that. You didn't allow that one single pain point to completely negate the entire option of real estate investing. You found the one pain point, you found a solution. You said, you know what? Now I can do it. And most people, for real estate investors, but also in business, people don't think that way. They think that they have to do every single piece of the transaction themselves. And what that does is it causes crazy frustration. It takes away all of the time freedom that you originally wanted. It reduces your cash flow because you can't focus on more income because you got to focus on maintaining. So that was a great job for you two to actually just kind of come together and look at it from all different sides and say, you know what? Problem solved. Let's go property manager. I love it.
Yeah, big time. I went through something very similar. I really want to speak to the part that, you know, your dad had frustrations and then you guys still went ahead forward. When you told him that you were going to, hey, we're going to buy our first investment, and what your plans were there any like, well, did at any point he's like, hey, you know, you should really, really be careful, maybe rethink or anything like that? Because I'm asking that because I went through that, right? I had a family member that had, you know, bad time with real estate, and they kind of projected that on me, like, no, you shouldn't do that. You know, look, I lost my money. You know, you shouldn't. I don't want the same thing to happen to you. Did you guys go through that as well?
Actually, not as with my father. No, he actually always was encouraging us buy property. Now, granted, not specifically duplex, that was new to him. But he was always he was very encouraging. He said he always wanted us to have our own property, you know, go for it. Especially last year when Corona hit, the interest rates kind of went down. He was like, it's a perfect time. But he was a little bit, when I brought the idea of duplex and this multifamily, he was like, what, how does that work? Is that going to even work? But he didn't necessarily negate us from, like, he didn't say, don't do it, kind of like, don't do it. But he was definitely on the make sure you do your research. That's one thing. Like, make sure this is not one of those
He's
things.
another numbers guy.
He's a numbers person.
Yeah.
And he was like, it just, because, you know, when it's unfamiliar, you just think it's not going to work, right? You just think you're skeptical. Exactly. You're skeptical. But thankfully, my parents are also entrepreneurs. They own a childcare business here in our home. And I definitely, from the beginning, I kind of was around that. So they're all for taking risks, but definitely calculated risks. Don't do anything that you can't do. And so right now, they're like, what's cash flowing on one side and you're getting rent from one side? So it's like now they're all for it now that it's actually happened. But definitely at first he just wanted, like, he wanted us to be safe and not just walk into something that was kind of like a scheme that just came out of nowhere, right? And just jumping on it. So thankfully he wasn't negative in that sense.
Yeah.
Thanks to the course, basically, since it wasn't till 4th of July, I believe, or something like that.
It was 4th of July. It was
4th of July.
Yeah.
The course that you offered was $99 at that time. Trust me, I didn't have that money, but I was like, Liz, this sounds good. This sounds good, you know? Yeah. And I purchased the course, and it had the spreadsheet. And that was like, that sealed the deal for basically, since he wants the numbers, we plugged everything, showed it to him. I was like, he said, yeah, this looks good.
It has to look good with numbers for us. It has to look good with numbers. That's our biggest thing.
It's funny. That's the first thing Clinton said. He was like, yeah, we're going to be talking numbers. Let me go ahead and bring on my wife, because she's the numbers one. But I do remember you guys. I remember when you purchased a course, and then I remember you guys asking questions and going through the calculator is what I think we ran numbers on, like, what, 3 or 4 duplexes, I think, at the time, and ran through some of those numbers. And that was interesting. There's, you know, we got a lot of people that take the course, and a lot of them do well. Most people, I think maybe 10 or 11 people have gotten their first property after taking the course. But what I liked about you guys is you reached out several times, like, hey, you know, this is what we're dealing with. This is, what do you guys think about this? And really enjoyed kind of going through that and walking you through and helping you go through that. So can you walk us through the process of your experience? I think we even hooked you up with a realtor, I believe. I think we might have linked you up with a realtor as well, if I'm not mistaken. But can you walk us through the process of just like how that was for you? You know, you guys took the course, all right, you did everything, that's cool. And then you actually start looking for deals at that point. What was that like for you? You know, walk us through your emotions, like just walk us through that whole journey.
So at this point, I'm still in AIT. Again, I'm in AIT. I think since due to COVID, we were holdovers, I believe. So I'm basically stuck there. I can't go to Texas because, of course, that's when COVID had just came up. This is around April time, by the way. So I started looking into real estate, found house hacking. And then once I get to Texas, we then purchased the course. By then she wasn't there because new baby and so on. And so while I'm in Texas, I'm going through the course. And mind you, this AIT, I was in a lot of debt too. So that's the funny thing. I didn't know how I was going to like get through that, but at the same time, it seemed good, you know, it seemed good. So I'm going through the course, and as I'm approaching towards the end, I was also looking into bigger pockets, just watching how people were saying, and I kept seeing Zillow pop up. I didn't know Zillow, but through Zillow, I started looking at houses. At first I was looking at houses, you know. I didn't look at, I knew house hacking. So from my mind, from when I found out about house hacking, I thought purchase a house and then share rooms in there, you know. Then that's when you guys broke down more about duplexes and multifamily. But during that process, I'm looking at houses. on Zillow, and Zillow suggests that you can find the agent through there. I found like 3 different agents on Zillow. First one, I just felt like they were just trying to sell things to me. Second one, same thing, wasting my time. And it's funny because Fort Hood National Bank approved me for $150, not for $150, $150,000, you know, and so once I got the vision of a duplex, most duplex didn't cost that much around here because we were going to go through the VA loan. So I couldn't find anything that could be could I could afford for 150. And later on, I moved to Veterans United, and they approved me for 200K. And it was a crazy timeline. I think you're better at explaining that timeline, because my mind at that point was just everywhere. I wanted to make this work, but she kind of saw the vision and could explain that better.
So basically, when we first started with Zillow agents, we were still iffy if we wanted to do multifamily or if we wanted to do single family, because what happened is we were starting to let agents say, no, that's not going to work. You know, you need too much reserves. That's, you know, or they just kept putting up excuses as to why going into a duplex first would not work. And I could say right now, thank God we didn't listen to them and we're here now. But really, that's really why I feel like the process probably took a little bit longer. Then once we started going full force, then my credit was not where it needed to be at. So at first, he was not getting approved for that much because I wasn't even being counted, because my credit was under 600 at that time. So I had to I purchased like credit repair courses to get that up too. And thankfully I was able to get it up. But really that was another setback at that time, because I didn't even realize it was going to be that bad. And I wasn't going to get approved to even my credit was so low that I couldn't even get approved to be on the loan at that time. So it was just him. But then we had one lender that was giving us 200K, I think it was at that time.
That was Veterans United itself.
Yeah, it was Veterans United, and they weren't requiring any really big reserves up front, except for, of course, because of a duplex, you need a reserve. But there was another one that was approving us for a little bit higher, but they were requiring upfront like 15K reserve. And we didn't have that at that time. We just didn't have it at that time. So it was very discouraging. That's why we were like, when we were sitting with agents were like, there was this one specific agent that was like, nope, just go to a single family home.
Yeah.
Just go to a single family home and don't even do a duplex. It's not going to work out. But from there, I want to say really grind time for us was like between August and November, where I was pulling on my credit. We were trying to find, different like agents that would work with us, right, and lenders, and just doing our research, really like YouTube watching. We were always watching Military Cash Flow episodes.
Oh yeah.
To like just get insight on how to actually go for it. And then really once I officially, so really from August to November is when I officially brought my credit up to be able to officially be on a loan and get a higher amount. So with Veterans United, we got once I got a loan, we got up to 280. 200,000. So that was good. So we felt like we had more to work with than the 150 and 200. So once that happened, that's when we had one agent at the time. So by November, we had already gone through 4 agents. We had already gone through 4 agents and 3 lenders really, because of Fort Hood National Bank. And at that time, our agent was great, but I felt that they were more like leaning towards us also getting a single family home, not duplex. Because when we would get sent stuff, it was single family homes. We're like, no, we want multifamily. Send us only multifamily, Mm-hmm. And with him, we put a couple of offers in, and they didn't work. I felt like they weren't guiding us on how to make the best offers. So once we got introduced to the current agent that we worked with now, at first we were putting in offers to a lot of houses. I mean, I'm sorry, to multifamily units, and they weren't working out.
Over 20 plus offers.
I think till now we probably did like over 50, like maybe offers.
Yeah.
And as we went, we got better at the offers, and even our agent was guiding us through and saying, the agent that we officially went with was really telling us, this is probably what's going to make it attractive. And this is probably why we're not getting approved, right? Or we're not getting even callbacks. So we went from bad offers to now, I know we were being creative, doing high earnest money, having option money, and showing that we would put down payment, even though we know that with the VA loan, we had that benefit. Killeen, Texas, at that time was seller's market. And there was no way you were going to get your foot in the door if you didn't have and then also closing costs, covering closing costs, our own closing costs, and, asking overprice. That was really how we were going to be able to get our foot in the door. And after that, so we just kept putting so many offers out, rejection, to the point where even our real estate agent was feeling bad, like he was wasting our time. And it was like, no, you feel like we're wasting your time.
Yeah, exactly. We thought we were wasting his time.
Because to make offers also takes time to build it out and put it out. So we were feeling bad, like, oh my gosh, and that's when we were feeling like, is this really gonna work? We keep putting in offers and nothing. I want to say we didn't get our first offer accepted until March of this year. That was our first offer that got accepted. So we have been putting offers in since, I want to say, November. Nothing, nothing. So we got our first offer accepted, and it had a couple of glitches not happen, it would have went through, and we were so thankful that it didn't go through, because that home. So, and this is again where we started getting desperate. We were just putting offers to anything that came out at that point, even though we knew we wanted cash flow, right? This one, it wasn't really going to cash flow, and it wasn't what we wanted. We were very intentional in what we wanted. We wanted a three bedroom, two bathroom on both units. We were very intentional. We wanted that. We wanted a garage. We were we knew what we wanted, right? So the home that got accepted, that once that offer got accepted, we were like, we'll go with it, but this is not what we want. This is not what we want. And by grace, I really say this is God, having our backs and letting us, what's for you is for you. And then again, also veterans, with VA loans, they are very particular, very meticulous in doing research behind a property. They failed to disclose that it was in a flood zone. So even though we put in option money and earnest money, and we had inspection done, and because we had an amazing agent, we basically were able to back out of that offer with all of our money back. We no money lost, no hard feelings, right?
Although they did give us the agent did give us a hard time.
The other agent did try to not. At first we're cooperative, and then they were like, no, we don't want to give you your earnest money back. And we're like, but at least give us our earnest money back, right? Like, keep the $200 option, right? But give us our earnest money back. But it worked out perfectly. Like I said, we had an amazing agent that even got us our inspection money back, because they failed to disclose that, and they kept claiming that they didn't know. But I mean, just a side note, it's still on the market until this day. So
yeah, it keeps
that
popping
shows
up.
that we touched a bullet. So we were so thankful for that. And when I say, when God closes a door, he's going to open another one. The day we walked out of that offer, that same day we put in an offer to this home that we currently have, and it was accepted within 2 hours.
Oh, nice.
So and what's funny is that at that time, and even now, a multifamily unit goes on the market, it's gone today.
Exactly.
It's like under contract today already. Because everybody's like, ask 30 grand over asking price, or, it's just so many things that people are just, it's not, it's a seller's market, right? So once we got officially accepted into Alpine, we're like, we didn't think we were going to get accepted, because that home had been on the market for 3 days, which was rare. It was rare, but I think that was God just giving us time to be able to officially, legally walk out of our other offer and be able to now make an offer for this one, and it got accepted within 2 hours. So from there, it was another kind of whirlwind because they, you know how they usually say, don't change lenders once you're under contract. Well, we changed lenders twice.
Oh.
And again, this was in March. So we were able to close by May 12th in our home. So we changed lenders twice because we were getting bad interest rates.
Oh yeah.
Very bad interest rates. And we were like, no, that's not what we want. So
I want to pause you right there because you said a lot of things that I'd love to break down. One of the biggest ones was that once you guys, the timeline, period. I want to just focus on the timeline. You guys made this decision all the way back, if I remember, about a year ago, July 4th of last year.
Mm-hmm.
And it took you all the way till November before you're even ready to put in offers, because of credit scores or whatever else.
Mm-hmm.
Then even then from November all the way to March before you got your first one accepted. What I want people to realize about that story is that real estate is a great platform to build wealth. It's a great way to leave a legacy, but it's not necessarily easy or fast. You have to be committed to making that decision and going forward and working with people and putting in negotiations and having headaches and going bald. This is from real estate, y'all. This is from real estate.
Oh, that's why I'm wearing the hat, because my
because you patching up. It's rough, man. And then so I just want people to know that it is a long process, and again I commend you guys for sticking through it. And this is just the beginning. You guys got so much more that you guys are going to accomplish now because you know the patience required for it. And then the other thing I wanted to highlight was that how many people you guys went through. 4 agents, 8 lenders, or whatever it was. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but
6 lenders, 6 agents.
See, and it's so important to find somebody who understands what you're looking for. And
Absolutely.
A lot of times they only understand it if they actually do it themselves, right? And not necessarily, but that tends to be the case a lot of the time. So take your time when you guys are out there interviewing agents, lenders, and make sure they fully understand what it is you're looking for and they understand your intent and they're willing to work for it. Because that agent, like you said, put in so many offers. A couple months later, they're like, oh, I feel bad, y'all. Just make sure that they're willing to put in that work. But
they have to know what they're doing. And from what I learned from you guys, I believe from what I learned, it's like they can either own not a multi, but they can be a real estate investor as well. Because you want to interview them to ask them, do you have any properties of your own? So at least they know what they're doing. Because from what I've seen and heard, it's like a lot of agents just get in there, get their foot in the door, and just want to make a sale regardless of what and they don't know what cash flow is. They just want to they just want to sell you anything, regardless of if you profit. Because I know one of the agents we were dealing with owned something, and they were from what the numbers I heard, it just didn't sound like a cash flow. So you're just buying to buy rather than actually buying to leave a legacy or something like that.
And that's a really good point, because you got to think about how does an agent get paid? An agent literally only gets a check when everybody closes. So all those months of working with somebody is essentially free until it closes. So most agents say, "Oh, okay, you want a rental property? Yeah, yep, that'll work." And they'll just point, it's got a door, and it's got a roof. Let's go. Come on, close on it.
It can be rented.
Yeah, he's got like a cardboard box, like that with a dollar sign. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, and it's
for sure.
And this is coming from both of us. Both of us are actual licensed agents, right? And we both know, and we both tell everyone as much as possible, all realtors aren't built the same, right? So, and just like you said, you experienced that firsthand, right? But I absolutely love you guys' perseverance, right? And I think that speaks to, so much to you guys as a couple, and also just your mentality. I mean, just really think about that for a second. If you need to rewind the last 15 minutes or so, I mean, we're talking about right now, we're in a COVID seller's market, right? We're in a post-COVID seller's market, right? This is probably one of the best seller market that at least I've been alive for, right? Over 50 offers, 6 agents, went through 6 lenders. went through having the credit issues, right? And still continuing to persevere. Several agents try to push you, hey, just, get this. Several people telling you no, telling you no, telling you no. And then this entire time, you guys continue to persevere. You're very, very intentional and focused on what you want, and you continue to push forward. Hey, man, that's what it takes. That's literally what it takes. Sometimes,
all with the newborn and being brand new to the military too. A big transition across the country.
I didn't even get to that one, because
Seriously.
like most people, would fold. Seriously, there's so many people out there that would just fold. I mean, if you look at your situation and your story as a collective, they should write a book on you guys or something, right? Like we're talking about brand new to the Army, two little ones, right? And you guys are persevering, and you're kicking ass and taking names, to be honest, right? Like I just love that story, and I love what you guys have done. I like to go ahead and, kind of start getting into a little bit of the numbers as well, so we can see how this broke down, because we heard about the struggles, right? Let's hear about a little bit of the success and what that is doing for you as a family, and how you guys plan to, continue moving this forward, and how you plan to leave this legacy behind for your two little ones.
Numbers.
So once we got officially into this one, it went into the market for 185,000. Obviously, we needed to do over asking price. We gave 200. Our offer was 200,000. We put in we said we would put 6,000 down payment. We would cover our closing costs, and we did 2,000 earnest money and 200 option. So that's really what was getting people's attention at that time in Killeen, and probably still till now. So that's when we got our offer accepted. And from there, we started getting a little bit nervous, because we're like, we hope it appraises at that, because with the VA loan, we were hearing that sometimes it wouldn't appraise at the time. And then that was a whole nother struggle. So we kept doing research in case it didn't appraise, because we really wanted this property. So we were like, if it doesn't appraise, this is how we're going to do it. This is how we're going to confront that. So that's how we got our offer accepted. Then we went, so at the time we were with VA Veterans United, and we had a 3.75 interest rate.
It started off at 2.5, and so when this is before she got added to the loan, I got approved for 2.5, and since the market started going, or the interest started rising at some point. So once I had the first time I did it, I did it by myself. So it had been 3+ months. So they had to we
pull our credit.
Yeah, they had to pull our credit again. So by that time, the interest was now at that 3.5 or so.
Yeah, it was like at 3.5. So we're like, no, we're going somewhere else. We need a better interest rate. So we went to another lender, a local lender, actually. We went to a local lender, and they weren't trying. They also kind of gave us 3, but they were having us pay a little bit too much to try. They were having us pay a little bit to do it. And we were willing to do that, but not to the amount that they were doing. I mean, they were telling us to bring it down to a 2.7. We had to bring like 6K. And we were like, no, we're not doing that. Like, we're willing to pay for points, but not that much. And then he was doing his research. He was like, let's do PenFed.
But before we get to the PenFed, so our offer got accepted, and we have a short timeline of getting things done with the appraisals and so on. So we're now under contract, but we're still trying to get our interest lowered, and then it goes to PenFed.
Yeah. So like I said, we changed. People don't recommend it, but we said no. We want a better rate, and we're going to do it. And because they kept saying that that's going to make our closing date even longer.
Yep.
But thankfully we were on crunch time, and because we had our baby that was going to be born in June, and I was going to travel outside of Texas. I was going to come back to Maryland. We said by May, this needs to be done, because I need to be there signing and everything. But we still took the risk. We took that risk, and we said, we're going to get our better rate and it's going to work out. You know, we were nervous a couple of times, like, but it worked out. So we went from Penn Fed, I think at first they offered us 2.5, I think it was. We bought it down a little bit and we went to 2.25 interest rate. So, and that was really with very little, I think we paid down 1,200, maybe 1,200 with points.
Yeah.
That's really what we paid to bring it down to that. So we went from getting a 3.75 to 2.25 with Penn Fed.
That is all. And what was the purchase price of the duplex too?
200,000.
200. Yeah.
200,000, 2.2. Okay.
Yeah, 200,000, and we put $6,000 down at that time. So once we got that, we also, so the biggest thing that really attracted us to Penn Fed as well, even though it's called this Dream Makers grant that is for military personnel. And the thing that attracted us from that too was that we didn't have to be with a specific lender. And they gave us $5,000 up to $5,000, and it's like a matching thing. So if you put down $2,500 or you put $2,500 for closing costs, they match it, so they give you $5,000. So up to $5,000, and it doesn't have to be with a specific lender. You don't even have to go through Penn Fed to happen. And really, the local lender that we were at, we had already said we were going to go with that grant, but the local lender was like, we don't work with that, even though. I was very discouraged about that because I was like, you could work with it, but whatever. It's okay. We went another way. And so we got that grant and we thought even better because now we're going through Penn Fed, so it's going to be even easier to get that grant. So that was attractive to us. We had that grant. And after, I want to say, so once we got that 2.5, really after that, it was just a lot of like back and forth with our loan officer and our loan processor. Which we felt they were just delaying things a bunch of times. Like, we're like, why didn't you tell us this 2 weeks ago that we could have, done this? I kept feeling like things just kept popping up last minute. Oh, income verification. Oh, this needs to happen. I was like, you could have told us this all at once. We're like, I was getting nervous because I'm like, I need this to close. You want this to close. But we thankfully, we did have good people that like were at least on it. Yeah. I want to say by the 30th, I think we had the clear to close at first.
Oh yeah. And
it didn't work out because again, another delay because I think it was paperwork. It's just paperwork. So,
the most frustrating part about that is no matter how many deals you do, that will always be the case. If it ever goes through, I'm just gonna be honest with y'all. It's super frustrating, but if you ever have a deal go straight through with no hiccups, that's the rarity. That's like, oh wow, that just happened. Because it never does. It never does. So let's dive into the numbers just a little bit. So what is your monthly mortgage or your PITI payment? What is your PITI payment currently on the house?
$1,150.
1,150. And then what do you rent the other side for?
Currently, what is it right now for?
So we came in with some tenants in there. So
okay.
Right now, the market, of course, they've been there for a long time. So they've been paying $695.
Okay.
But based on Rentometer, the average rent for a 3-bed, 2-bath is $1,000. So
nice.
Of course, once it's time to renew, we're definitely going to bring that up. So we're just getting them, having them settled, but it could rent up to 1,100 based on our market. But for now, we're just going to, slow it down until it gets up to that amount.
Because even then, you guys have a $200,000 property where your obligation out of your pocket is roughly about $400, give or take, if I could do the math pretty quickly. But so that's still good, right? And now, that's the power of house hacking. You don't always have to cash flow. All you're really doing is reducing your monthly obligation in rent. So that's a beautiful thing. And now, once you get to raise it up to market rent, you can almost completely negate it or actually make some money. That's powerful. That's extremely powerful. I love it.
Less than what we paid at our apartment right now.
Oh yeah.
That's down our mortgage. So that
exactly paying the principal down.
Yeah.
that's the win right now, because you guys hit the trifecta, or maybe even the quadfecta, right? Like where you're not cash flowing, right? But you're reducing your monthly obligation, right? You're pocketing all of your BAH, right?
Mm-hmm.
You are obviously you're saving money, because what you would be renting, that would be costing you money, right? And then you're paying down your mortgage, and obviously tax implications there as well. So I mean, you guys are just winning all around. The well, what's five pentafector? I guess. I'm making up words right now, but I think you know what I'm talking about. So I mean, how has that felt? I mean, I know you guys got to be, walk us through your feelings now that it's actually closed. You're actually living it. You know that you can increase rents to market rents, and then only pay $100 plus pocket your BAH. Like, what is that doing for you?
Woo. I let me just say this. So we closed May 12th. I had to leave for Maryland a week later. So I only spent a weekend at home, and
It was actually a day.
actually it was a day.
A night.
Because we didn't, we by the time we had to move and everything, I had to come back because we had just had so many other things happening. But it just still feels unreal because I only spent one day there in the home, but it still feels unreal that we're getting that income in every month. Even though we're here right now. So for him, I think you spent maybe, because he had also come maybe a month.
Yeah, I spent a month in there, and it's way bigger than the apartment I was living in. And on the funny thing is, I'm paying way less than what I'm paying. So it's too good to be true right now. But then again, it's not, because I have a lot more room. And also working with a property manager, he's very hands-on. He wants us to ask him so many questions, because also we didn't want to let the tenants know we're the owners, just for the simple fact we didn't want that 2 a.m. knock on your door saying, yeah, we need this repair. So he's been telling us some hacks. If the tenants catch you doing something where it's like, how are you able to get that? He was like, just tell them the property manager. I wrote a letter to the property manager and they approved it. So we can make it look like, yeah, we're still another tenant.
Yeah.
So it seems, it's honestly amazing, because I never thought I will be where we're at right now, but just getting that first of the month income and just saving it and not actually spending it, it's amazing to us right now.
So let me ask you, I mean, this is a huge accomplishment, but is this the end for you guys, or is this just the beginning? Like, where do you see yourselves going from here when it comes to real estate?
We're just touching the surface.
This the beginning. This the calm before the storm.
long term, we want to go into commercial strip. That was always my biggest vision. Even when he was in basic, I would write letters to him, and this was even before he even talked about multifamily or anything like that. I said, you know what? I vision us having a strip, and like, because his sister is into makeup, into fashion. Like, she could have one place here. My father's an electrician. My brother's a master electrician. They could have their place here. So I always visioned, like, in a way, real estate, right? But that's still my vision. I wanna like have commercial, but also like doing strip stuff and putting my family into something like that, to our family.
I used to have to strip to get through college. What about you, Clint? No. I'm playing, but I feel you on that one though. It's something like owning businesses, like owning properties, and having your family kind of, it's a way to still bring your family together, still support your family, like, in a way, you know what I'm saying, but still bring in income, still have that asset protection, still have that tax protection and all this other stuff. So I always love real estate for that. And then what about you, Clint? Same thing. You see yourself doing commercial too? Like, what do you see for the family, I guess, with real estate?
We're trying to next year hopefully get into a quad, so from the quad go into of course commercial, but we keep trying to go on Instagram. I see the steps, although it seems too good to be true again, but we made it out. We got a duplex, which that from then it seemed too good to be true. So we're trying to go up the ladder from duplex, quad, commercial, and strip, or owning a whole apartment complex. So I'm just thinking big every time.
Yeah, we're already looking for our next property because you see how long it took for the other one.
Yep.
So
Yep.
The same agent, I told him don't stop sending the properties. Although we're waiting for that 1 year mark, I set a calendar reminder for that 1 year to hit. But 3 months as we're approaching that, we're going to start making offers by that time, so that when it comes down to closing, it fits that mark, so we can. Or if I get deployed, even better, you know.
Absolutely.
So how has I assume that you've told your family and everyone, also your friends and also your fellow service members about, like, hey, I own a duplex now. This is what we did. You know, how has that message been received, basically?
I don't think they still understand it. It sounds good. It sounds good, but I don't think they still understand it. I've tried so much to break it down, just as much as I can. I've sent them YouTube video. I've even sent some of the military cash flow videos. Some of them get it. I have a friend right now. He's just saving up. I told him to save up, fix your credit. So he's on the right path. But a lot of people don't understand it, because I feel like right now, with COVID, a lot of people are trapped with survival mode. You know, they're stuck in survival mode. I'm not trying to step outside of what I have. That income, I got to pay the bills, which is, we were in the same situation, but you can at least put some side money to see what you could do. But to answer your question, a lot of people, it still hasn't hit them, you know, until if I show them the checks coming in, maybe they'll get it. But you know,
they don't get the vision, I think. That's
yeah.
the thing.
Yeah, and it's frustrating a lot, because you'll find this too. Once you guys start having success in many different factors, and I'm sure you've already seen it, and you try to tell not only friends but family, and family doesn't get it, it becomes frustrating, because you just want to be like, just get it, just do it, right? But ultimately, what we realize is we can't. What is it? You know, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink, type of thing. Yes. We cannot force people to see the light or to do these things. So the best thing that you can do is just continue to take action. And when it comes to the point where you do have that strip center that you own and it's yours, and now you can say, you know what, family, friends, I'm going to give you the opportunity to be successful by giving you this space to now run a business out of, or something like that, right? And it's by offering those opportunities through the financial abundance that you create. And if you guys just keep rolling with that, man, it just takes all the stress off your shoulders. Right. But on that note, so if you are reaching out to other veterans, young families, right, just now starting their military careers and starting their real estate journey, what is one piece of advice that you all would offer them?
Honestly, the first step is to build your credit, because I know a lot of people still getting cars with 20% APR. You know, build your credit however you can, and start saving. You know, put some money to the side. I know we got the TSP, but like, at least put, no matter even if it's 50 to 100 to 500, build your credit and save money, because I didn't think I was going to be able to do this. We jumped into doing this with debt and somehow cleared it out, you know, and made it out. So just save up, build your credit, and stay focused. Like, don't listen to outsiders, because a lot of us we were this close to buying a house and just settling. We found a great house, trust me, but just we backed out of that and things got better, you know.
Yeah. Pretty much don't let anybody, don't let the outside world get into your head, because there was so many times that we could have let the outside world tell us, go into single family or go do this, go do that. But we didn't, and we stuck to it. And now we're here. Had we listened to them? Had we even listened to the real estate agents that didn't work with us, because they're supposed to be the experts here. And we didn't even listen to those experts, right? So just find it in your heart to know exactly what you want. Be intentional, be very intentional in what you want, and just go through it, stick through it.
Yeah.
And also, for them, they need to go to, because not only did you guys help me, but I was able to, through Bigger Pockets, find a local meetup there where I connected with like-minded people. Because if we did this on our own, we would have not gotten as far as we did, because we found people actually doing what we were trying to do and more. So by seeing them, we kind of just, the energy just made us want to become like them, and we're slowly trying to get there.
You know, finding like-minded individuals is a huge one. We asked for one piece of advice, man. You guys gave us like 20 gems, dude. Nah, you're good. You're good. But no, those are all great pieces of advice. Definitely follow, you know, be focused, be intentional, right? Persevere, continue to persevere, save your money, build your credit, right? And then also go find like-minded individuals to network with. All phenomenal pieces of advice. Definitely some things that you guys, if you're listening to this and you're trying to do the same thing, you might be in a similar position, and you might want to get on the path to building your own family wealth, right? Definitely use those pieces of advices and continue to do that, or start to do that. With that said, how can the Military Cash Flow family get in contact with you if they have any questions, or if they just want to find out more about your journey?
I'm solely on Instagram. I don't really like social media like that, but I'm on Instagram just for family members. So you can find me at kid__92. And she's the Facebook person. So she's on the Military Cash Flow.
Yeah, I'm in the Military Cash Flow group, Facebook group. But you can find me on Facebook, Liz Mua. So LIZ MUA. You can find me on there. Instagram, my tag is it's BABYYGEE _.
You got that unprofessional tag.
B-A-B-B-B-B. Got it. And as always, guys, we're going to have all that information in the show notes. So be sure to reach out to them. If you just want to hear more about their journey, just follow along, because I know I'm very interested to see what's coming next for you guys as well. But we greatly appreciate you guys taking time out on, this is a Sunday morning, right? Sunday morning, and you guys are taking the time to share your story, right, and give back to the community. So thank you both for coming on.
No, we truly appreciate you guys for having us on there. We're very humble. We're still a student. We're never going to let our journey give us the big head. We're still learning. Like, I'm still in Military Cash Flow comments, just commenting and everything. So I'm still there. I'm always going to watch the video. So I appreciate you for having us on the show.
Absolutely.
It's been awesome. It's been awesome. Thanks so much for coming on. I really appreciate that. Hey, if you're watching this on YouTube and you're liking what's getting put out right now, please do us a favor, hit that notification bell, hit the like button, leave us a comment. If you got a question for Liz and Clinton, they might be able to answer something for you. I mean, you heard their whole entire story, so they have a wealth of knowledge, and it's fresh right now. And so if you have those questions, be sure to go ahead and ask. If you're listening to this on podcast, please leave us a review. We really appreciate those. And then come join the Facebook group. You just heard Liz say she's already in the Facebook group, and she's going to be answering some questions, I assume, if anyone has them there. So please do that. I'd ask something from you guys. If you guys can do us a favor, send us a picture of you guys in front of the new duplex, and like post it on the Facebook group, man. Share your success story, because this video is probably not going to be out for about maybe a month or so. So do us a favor and post that. We'd really appreciate it. But other than that, this is Dan.
Mike Glaspie.
Signing off.